let's talk about the Buffalo Bills. So I'm a Bills fan. I've been a Bills fan, not through choice, through birth, but it's a choice now. I'm still a Bills fan. But I want to talk about the new season, right? We had a new season, new 2024 season. This is our year, right? We tell ourselves every year. But week 1 saw the Buffalo Bills face the Arizona Cardinals at home. And it was a good home opener. A little bit of heartache. The Bills fell behind early. It didn't look promising. And then, us as Bills fans, right, we've seen the story. We start telling ourselves. And then the new narrative that I think we need to tell ourselves, because we're all, I know I still too, as someone that's, been there since the 90s, not the Super Bowl days, but late 90s as a child and seeing it through, right? We have trauma, right? Us as a fan base, as a people, there's generational trauma we always think we're going to lose. But the new narrative I think we need to start program is we have Josh Allen. So I think that's the big high level takeaway from week 1 of the Bills did not play great. They didn't play terrible. They picked themselves up in the second half. But if we got Josh Allen, we got a chance. And I think the big story, at least for me, was, Josh Allen is, a top quarterback. I think obviously there's the polls that came out that he's overrated. But I encourage any outsider to watch a Buffalo Bills game and still say that he's overrated, right? He did have a fumble, and I think the mainstream media will pick up, Josh Allen, another fumble. But as a Bill fan, I speak for myself, but I speak for all Bill fans. It sucks. It sucks when Josh, fumbles the ball, when he throws interceptions. We don't like that. But, we also accept that that's part of the experience, and we really don't care. He fumbled in the first part of the game, but he ended up with 4 touchdowns. And one of the rushing touchdowns where he juked, hurdled over a guy, and then jumped in the end zone and took 2 defensive linemen with you. It's really, obviously we want to win the Super Bowl, but I've kind of come to the philosophy of it's just a joy for us as Buffalo Bills fans to have the privilege, because it is a privilege, to watch Josh Allen play every Sunday. He's so passionate about the game of football, and also just his whole personality, and just he really fits with Buffalo, and it's just a pleasure to watch him play, and we hope that his hand heals up, and if we got him, we got a chance. That's kind of the big thing. It's still the same thing, which is, kind of the concern as the Bills fans. I think we come into this year very much viewing it as a rebuilding year, right? So our salary cap was a mess, and I think this year is the first kind of iteration of, we had this first, Josh is in his 7th year now. So the first 6 years were that core, whether it's Mitch Morris, Tre'Davious White, a whole host of guys, Micah Hyde, Jordan Poyer. The old guard is not there anymore, right? It didn't work. It was clear it couldn't work anymore. So Brandon Beane this year over the summer really is kind of reconfiguring the cap. We're kind of brought some younger guys in. This year is very much it feels like a rebuilding year, but we have Josh Allen. But again, this year, we traded Stephon Diggs. We have some big cap hits, but our cap space turns around. Hopefully we can retool. So it feels like this is the beginning of almost V2 of the Josh Allen era, where we just have younger guys, right? We have guys that we don't know. So on offense, we have, we're hoping Dalton Kincaid at tight end. Khalil Shakir looked great. I don't know why we don't feed him the ball more. He seems to make a play every time he gets the ball. So we have some unknowns, some new guys that we're hoping that can step up. But again, the big takeaway is we still have Josh Allen, so we got a chance. I don't know. I think recording this too in the beginning of the year, as a Bills fan, I do not think we will win the Super Bowl this year. It just doesn't feel like we've got maybe the depth, the experience, but I don't know. Fan bases that have won Super Bowls, maybe you can tell me, maybe the years that you don't expect it is the year you get it. So I think as long as we have Josh Allen, we have a chance. But the problem with the Bills has been it's always just about Josh Allen. He has to do everything, and he does lots of things and almost does it all the time. But I'm just nervous that we don't have the supporting cast this year. But who knows? We might be surprised along the way. So that was the big thing. We got Josh Allen. We're okay as long as he's healthy. As long as he's out there, we got a shot. The other big thing that I think as a fan that I saw that was my big takeaway was Greg Rousseau. He looked phenomenal on the defensive line. I think we should get him signed to a contract very quick, because it seems like the longer that he plays the way he did on Sunday, we're going to have a hefty bill at the end. And I think it's very exciting to see Greg Rousseau, or Groot, see him this year, right? When we drafted him a couple of years, we drafted him at the end of the first round. He was very young, very raw. He was a guy we picked where we know he's, it's going to take him a while, but we can develop into something. He can develop, right? He's still young. He can, just develop physically, develop mentally, and, become something, and it seems like we're starting to see those dividends pay out. So it seems like that we might have hit on the pick, because he just looked like a freak of nature out there. He's big, he moves well, he was making plays, he had 3 sacks, and he's just a heck of a player. And I think that's, as a Bills fan, that's part of the larger, we've spent so much capital on the defensive line, right? When you think of, spending second round picks, whether it was Boogie Basham, I can't name all, but we've been for a while bringing, the Von Miller contract, having to go out, bring in a guy with a heavy salary, which, side note, he looked much better, not like his old vintage self, but he looked way much better than last year. He looked like he was running around there, which is promising. He's a leadership. If he can step up, that's bigger our team too. But the Bills, right, our philosophy has always been on defense, building up our lines, and we've spent so much capital, so much draft capital, cap space on bringing guys in, and we've had lots of busts. It's been an issue. I think, Epineza, he's good, but I don't know if he's, second round pick or what we hoped for, but it looks like we did hit on Rousseau, and finally it looks like he's going to be a player. So hopefully we'll have the cap space, and I think we will, to be able to sign him, but he looked great. That was my big takeaway too on defense. The third, special teams, I think that we saw that rule where the new kickoff rule, where the Bills kind of iced the game in the fourth quarter. We went up by 10. Josh Hurdle guy. It felt like, okay, here we can cruise. And then next play, new kickoff rule. We have a kick return, and it's a heck of a game. And again, Bills fans makes you cringe, which makes me. I wish Buffalo Joe was in there, because it's like, if I get Buffalo Joe, he's undrafted, but if we're gonna let up a kick return in anyway, we might as well put him in there, because at least I'm excited to see him make his first tackle at the old Ralph and see the fans go wild. So. Week 1, the big kind of takeaway, I guess, is that, it looks like I think we'll be a good team. I don't think we can't play the way we did last week and beat a team like the Chiefs or the elite teams, but I think, and I saw it all over. I mean, the Cardinals had an episode there at the end of the game, right, where they're pushing for the game. It was like 3rd and 9, and they ran a running back draw for like a 1-yard gain, and then it's 4th down, and then it's 4th and long, and then you got to throw. So, and that was just one instance, but I think as a Bills fan, I think we're a little hoity now that we've, won the division a couple years in a row, and playoffs seem to be the standard now. But I think when you see the regular season, you just forget how bad or how comical some of the incompetence is around the NFL of some of the mid to lower teams. And not saying the Cardinals, I think they're going to be a good team as well, but right, and there's levels to it too, because when the Bills get in the playoffs, you just see some of the errors that McDermott makes that a coach like a Reed or a Belichick doesn't. But yeah. We won. That's the main thing. 1-0. We got a tough schedule this year. And as I record this, week 2, Bills versus Dolphins, which I think is really, right, this is, and especially as a Bills fan, right, we had a couple close games, especially we played the Dolphins in the playoffs last year. We know that they're a tail. I think this could be a year where they very potentially could overtake us as the division leader. So this really feels like two powers of the AFC East really, seeing, determining the rest of the season, because this sets the tone, right? The winner has a 1-game lead over the other, so whoever loses is playing catch up for the rest of the year, and it also sees where we stack, right? How do the Bills losing that guy? Do the Dolphins now, if they come out and overtake us, who knows? Maybe they can set the tone to say, hey, we're here in the AFC East now. So this should be an exciting game for the early lead in the AFC East, and I do expect us to regress a little bit, and I also expect the Cardinals, right? And I think as a Bills fan too, we experienced, your first time as you do have to have a couple falls. So it wouldn't surprise me if the Dolphins pulled out this game, right? They have good young players, and they've almost had us a couple times. And I think the fear being a Bills fans is that at some point Josh Allen can't do it all himself, or God forbid he gets hurt, knock on wood. I mean, he hurt his hand, and just with his style of play, that what we're witnessing can't last. So that's quick analysis. I guess a couple things I'm looking at is I'd love to see Khalil Shakir. Let's get him the ball more, because I think he had 3 catches, and every time he gets the catch, you have to tackle him. He needs to be tackled. He doesn't just fall over if you hit him. So I'd love to see our new offense. And Ray Davis, the running back, the new rookie running back, he had a couple touches where it's like, oh, he runs good. Like he runs good. So excited to see him, and just excited to see this new. It feels like, the old era. We had Stephon Diggs where it really felt like Josh needed to feed him the ball, and that worked. But this seems very much more delegation. And I think Josh is now, he's got that field general awareness of, I think the Dolphins were trying to take Kincaid away, and he's just able to, and I think that's what you see with elite quarterbacks. They don't force anyone, right? Brady was always looking for Gronk, but if Gronk was triple, double covered, he'd hit it in the flat, take it as you come. And I think it seems like this year's offense specifically is going to be more delegation, more spreading the ball around, which is great. I think that's a great philosophy to have, and I think over time we'll see. So yeah, Buffalo Bills football, that's my first analysis, and we'll see. I'll record one, or maybe a week or two, try to do a couple throughout the season. Because yeah, I'm a Bills fan, passionate about it too, and yeah, hopefully this is our year. But you know, as a Bills fan, especially if that loss last year to Kansas City, I feel numb now, right? I used to feel pain when we would lose. Now I just felt numb, because that felt like, oh, we had them, the Chiefs at home, and then they won and we were running it, but we'll see. It all comes down to some 70-year-old referee making a questionable call anyway. So yeah, just use game day as a day to, you know, get together with friends and family and kick back and take your stress away from the daily inflation and other political news. So yeah, blood and circuses, but it's a fun circus. So Buffalo Bills, go Bills.